Guys, it's me Ems, and on today's video I'm going to be talking a little bit about why you should never hand rear a wild bird and then release it. So let's get started. So yesterday I was around my uncle's house and I went outside, and on the verge next to the road there was a pigeon squab. So he was only about that big, not a big pigeon. And I sort of like, okay, I don't think he's been hit by a car because he seems fairly alert, but I'll go and check anyway. And I went over there and he let me pick him up, and he was fine. He was a teeny bit thin, but like there was no obvious injuries. And then there were about 7 cats around, so I picked him up, I popped him up on the roof of a garage, and I sort of thought, well, this isn't normal. He can fly, because he was fluttering around when we got there, so he can quite clearly fly, but he is not flying. Whether this is just because he was young and he was getting used to people, I'm not really sure, but my initial thought is I do think there is a chance that he has been hand-reared and then released. And there are 2 reasons why this is a bad thing. One is he's extremely tame and he was quite happy perched up on my hand. And 2, if he has been hand-reared and released, he's been released at too much of a young age, because at the age that he was at, he would still be dependent on the mother. So anyway, I put him up on the roof and he flew from the roof up into a tree, which is another reason how I knew he could perfectly fly. He was flying like an adult pigeon, but then he came back down to the roof and kept walking over to the edge of the roof and trying to get down onto my arm. So I went inside and I just left him, and then when I come back out, I come out to see if he was still there, and he was up in the tree again. But when you walk under the tree, he was hopping along the branches directly above you, so he was following me. And then my mum went back there yesterday to do some things, and he was sat up on the wall again, just, I don't really know how to explain it. He was not fussed about the people walking by or anything. He was just sat there. So what we're going to be doing is later on today, we are going to go back down there. If I can get near him again, I'm going to see how thin he is. And if he is extremely thin, then he will be coming back here. But I'm hoping that's not the case, because if he's not thin, then he'll be okay. And because if he's not thin, then he's obviously worked out how to eat on his own and stuff. But please don't hand-rear birds if you don't know what you're doing. You would have seen that I hand-reared a couple of birds on my previous videos, but that is because I'm completely confident. I have no concerns about hand-rearing birds, apart from obviously the worry that they might die. But I'm confident, I know what I'm feeding them, I know how to feed them. This is not all people, I'm just like saying. Some people are sort of like, just give them corn and some water, or use a syringe and put water down. You should never do that, because you can actually drown them from the inside, because if you get it down the windpipe, it can fill up their lungs, and that is basically drowning, just drowning from the inside, so it's not a nice death. But yeah, like I said, but another thing about hand-rearing birds, if you do it, you should never let them get tame. That is the one thing you cannot do, because they could fly up to someone that could potentially hurt them, and it's horrible to think about, really. So so yeah, if you do pick up a baby bird, obviously if you live in Enham, you know where I live. I'm not going to say it, obviously, because I don't really want to get my address out, but you'll know where I live, so you can bring it on down here, or you can take it to Wiltshire Wildlife, which is obviously down in Wiltshire, or Wildlife Aid, which is in Leatherhead, Surrey, and they are really good. Like, as the name implies, they're really good with the animals. They both wildlife rescue centres. So yeah, that's my main point of today. So please, please, please don't hand-rear birds if you haven't done your research or if you don't know what you're doing. And it's always best to rear more than one at a time, because that's how they imprint. If there's 2 birds, they imprint on each other. So they imprint with their own species, which is always a good thing, because you don't want to have a bird thinking it's a person or not being afraid of people. So yeah, that's all I've got today, guys. I'll let you know on my next video if we did pick up the pigeon or not, and if we did and he's doing okay, I'll show him to you. So yeah, please make sure to comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.